In today's video, I want to do an honest and unsponsored HelloFresh review. I actually never thought that I would want to try HelloFresh because I really like cooking myself, but someone at work gave me this free box HelloFresh voucher and I thought, okay, I want to try it. I want to see what this is all about. So I have my computer right here. I'm gonna record my screen and we're gonna order our first box together and see what's even available. Okay, so it says get up to $190 off. So this is the New Zealand website. We are 2 people, 5 for 30, $37. That actually sounds pretty good to me. Okay, just clicked on the next step. It's personal information, so I'm gonna quickly fill in my name, address, banking details. So I just ordered a box for 2 people with 5 meals and it came to around 49, so like 50 New Zealand dollars, which if it's true that those are 10 portions, I think $50 are pretty good. Okay, let's start with select my meals, and I personally feel like that should be before you have to pay for anything. Like, I want to know what I'm buying before I have to pay. Anyway, slow cooked beef brisket and parmesan mash. Why is it plus $10.99 per serving? Oh, I think Nick might like this one. Fillet steak and creamy peppercorn sauce with truffle fries and garlic butter grains. Okay, why is it what? So if I add that one, plus $17 per serving. Why do I have to pay extra? Oh my god, it's already like frustrating me a little bit. Like, I don't like that process. Like, if I was at that point before I would check out, I would think of maybe not buying it because all of the meals that I like, I have to pay extra for. Not that it's like a lot of money, but you know what I mean? It's kind of like a bit of a rip-off. Okay, so I have picked my 5 meals now, which took me about 20 minutes to do. So we have the spiced salmon and lemon chive yogurt, the Asian fusion beef taco, korma curry, fried rice, and spiced Middle Eastern lamb rump. I will probably run this by Nick tonight when he comes home. Cool, so I see you on Monday when the box arrives and we're gonna unpack everything, and I'm really, really excited to start cooking. The goods have arrived. Okay, let's unpack this because this box was standing outside my front door for about 3 hours. I completely missed that they have delivered it, even though, which is really cool, they have sent me a slot when the box is going to be delivered. I was just too lazy to go to my front door and check it. So first things first, this box is packed to the top, and here are the famous meal cards, which I'm actually really excited for. I think those ones are so lovely to just like collect. They are printed in really lovely thick paper. We haven't changed the meals. I showed them to Nick and he was happy with my choice, so we just stick with that. Everything looks really high quality, like all the paper feels really thick, which I know has nothing to do with the meals itself, but the box just gives a really luxe, good, nice feeling. Okay, so every meal is color coordinated with like little stickers. Something seems to be leaking a little bit, so I might start unpacking this quickly. Okay, have some pak choi. Oh, that was the one that was leaking, a little bit wet. Loads and loads and loads of little bags with stuff. Tiny bit of rice, garlic paste, interesting. Corn flour. Oh my god, I have so much corn flour at home. I don't need more corn flour. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take out whatever needs to go into the fridge, and I keep these ones in the paper bags. Otherwise, I completely lose track of what of those little sachets go to which meal. I think I just stumbled across the cooler bag. I was wondering where all of the fish and meat and everything was. So they put all of that into like one big cool pouch which says, I'm a recyclable cool pouch with goodies inside. It seems like it's just paper. Yeah, it is. Oh my god, that's really cool. I love that. So you see like just like this paper stuff inside. And then it comes with those cooler bags, which are basically just chilled ice packs. It's dripping a little bit already because it was lying outside for some time. And in here we have the meat, the fish, and everything is really nice and cold. So it's like it literally came out the fridge. That's how it feels. The only downside is, you can see, it's dripping a little bit. So this is all of the food that came in this one box. And it does look like there is enough for 2 people for every meal. but we'll find it out later today when we cook the first one. But first impression, everything looks very, very good. The quality looks great. The only thing I'm a little bit meh about is all of the plastic packaging. Like, something like that annoys me. Like, why do you need to put this little parsley into plastic? Why can't you put that into like a little paper bag? Obviously that is not only a HelloFresh problem, that's a supermarket problem as well, but as I'm reviewing this box, obviously I do point stuff like that out as well. One other thing I noticed is with some of the meat it says 100% New Zealand premium free range, which obviously is amazing, specifically for the price. Same with the lamb, it says like 100% New Zealand premium quality, but then on the beef it doesn't say anything, so I'm not quite sure now. I need to do a little bit more research on that. So first impression, I actually really love it, specifically if you do get a good discount. All of this was, I think, $47 if I remember correctly. So for 10 dishes in total, I think that's pretty good value for money. I really have to say I'm super excited to start cooking and try all of those different recipes. And our special guest for tonight, little Poppy. She must have smelled the food, so she came for a visit. She's actually not our cat, she's our neighbor's cat.
She's like, will you just put me down and get me
No, just the thing is, she doesn't go down, she's always stuck. Oh, come on.
You need to just bring her closer to the ground.
So it is dinner time, and we have picked the chicken korma curry, which Nick has actually picked because he's a huge curry fan. It looks simple enough on the back. There's literally 4 steps of boiling the rice, chopping up the vegetables and frying them, putting in the chicken and the sauce, and then mixing everything together. I think that sounds simple enough. I think we should be able to do that.
I think we can manage, but I'm not going to make any promises.
I think it's going to be very hard to fuck up, to be honest.
If there's a fire in our kitchen, yeah, no disclaimer.
So the first step is to just cook the rice, and then in the meantime, one of us can chop up the vegetables.
Chop on vegetables.
Okay, do the vegetables, I'll do the rice. Okay, so while the rice is cooking for 12 minutes, as it says here, Nick is going to start chopping the vegetables. Hey, puppy. Yeah. You want some dinner too? Not good?
That's quite nice. Mixing these around. Well, I feel like the pan's not big enough.
God, this does not look very good either. Trust the process.
Trust the process. Well, except for the brown sugar process, that we did leave that out.
Yeah, we skipped the brown sugar.
We've had like way too many takeout curries that have just been like sickly sweet.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, those are massive portions. Probably have some lunch with that.
Well, I hope you're hungry.
I'm actually not that hungry, so definitely have some lunch for tomorrow as well. We have mixed in some of the spinach, but we also left a little bit decoration. Oh my god, it's not the prettiest.
Yeah, decoration.
Focus on this one, that looks prettier.
Decoration, 90% on one.
Ignore this one. Here we have our beautiful dishes versus the recipe card. I think it actually looks really good. Would you say that's a good size for you?
Yeah, I will. Now the most important part.
It's taste.
The taste.
Okay, let's sit down. Come on, sweetheart. You can go on the other chair. You can go here. One side. Let's try this.
Nice. Quite nice.
The flavor is really good.
Yeah, I'd say it's quite nice.
And I think the vegetables also have like a nice crunch to them. Not too much, but a little bit.
Cooked, but not
Overcooked. Like, it's not too soft.
I'm definitely glad we left the brown sugar out though.
Yeah, same.
It's like just nice balance of spices without any sweetness, which I think is good.
How would you rate it out of, let's say, 7?
Okay, then how would you rate it out of 10? Let's do that one.
Okay, 10.
Because no one rates that 7.
How would you rate it out of 10?
Probably like a good 7, 7.5. Like, and it does taste very nice. It's not. Is it the best one I've ever had? No, but also it was better than I would have expected.
Yeah, I think
like essentially a store-bought one.
I think it tastes a little bit like, I mean, it sounds a bit stupid, but like a European version of a curry. You know, where it's like it's not too spicy, it's quite mild, it's easy to eat. Where I feel like if you buy this kind of curry in like an actual like Indian restaurant, it would probably have a bit more kick and a bit more spices in it.
Yeah, for our Western taste buds, this will do just fine.
I think I'll give it a 7. That's us for tonight. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you again when I try the other recipes, maybe not in this full extent of cooking everything. That was a success. Happy with this. Wiedersehen. Okay, let's talk about sustainability. And before we start, I would like to make a disclaimer and say I know that I'm absolutely not perfect when it comes to sustainability, but I still think it is an important section of the video if you are thinking of getting HelloFresh. So I've done a little bit of research and there are 5 points that I would like to cover. So let's start off with the first one, which is supply chain. And everything I'm going to mention now, I either got from the HelloFresh website or from separate studies. So I'm going to link everything down below if you do want to read through the stuff yourself. So supply chain is a really interesting one because it's not the first thing that comes to mind when I think about buying a food box. You're actually reducing carbon emissions by 15% compared to supermarkets and 9% compared to restaurants. And the reason being is that HelloFresh supply chain, or I would also say other food boxes supply chains, are significantly shorter compared to, for example, a supermarket or restaurant supply chain. I think the only issue I have with this study is HelloFresh obviously only provides dinners. So what about breakfast and lunch? In the end, I'm gonna drive there anyway to pick up my other stuff. And then on top of that, someone has to deliver my dinner. I'm not quite sure if they factored that into the calculations, but I'm pretty sure they didn't. The second point I want to touch on is packaging. And packaging is a topic that I personally find really difficult the more I read into it, because there is a lot of greenwashing going on. So obviously, as you've seen in the unpacking, there's a lot of paper packaging, which is really great, but you've also seen that there is a lot of individual small plastic packaging. And when you go onto the website, they do say that you can obviously recycle the paper and then you can also recycle the plastic. But my main issue with saying that you can recycle plastic is, for example, in New Zealand, the majority of plastic that is claimed to be recycled is actually sent offshore to like Malaysia or Thailand or China. And there's a study that says that the annual tonnage of recycled plastic in New Zealand is around 45,000 tons, and 90% of that was exported offshore. And then most of the time they either don't have the recycling facilities available, stuff just goes into landfill, and then New Zealand claims that it has been recycled when it hasn't. I do want to say here that this is not a HelloFresh or New Zealand problem per se. This is in general like a worldwide problem, a Western world problem. I think it's just a bit of a reminder that just because someone says things are recycled doesn't necessarily mean they are actually recycled. The next point I want to talk about is food waste. So those food boxes such as HelloFresh claim that when you buy their boxes, you won't really have any food waste. I think it's great that you have everything in the right size and the right portion and there's not going to be any leftover. But personally, I have to say, I actually don't really run into that issue even though I'm not using those food boxes. So if you are already a trained food shopper, I think you can obviously minimize food waste anyway, but I do know that a lot of people do struggle with that a little bit, and I think for that, HelloFresh is a really good option. The next point I found on the website, which I have never heard of before, is called the Climate Superstar Recipes. And on the website it says that our new Climate Superstar recipes have even lower emissions than regular HelloFresh meals, being 50% below the carbon budget threshold of an average Kiwi dinner. So with these recipes, they try to use produce that is already quite low in carbon emission and then pair it up with the supply chain. You get this 50% difference. I think it's a really cool initiative and a really cool idea. I'm kind of annoyed that I didn't see it when I ordered my meals, or maybe I did and I kind of like, it didn't click, but I wish I would have ordered one of these just to try and see what it is. I'm very glad that those food boxes and HelloFresh, which I think is the biggest one out there, is taking those initiatives and tries to be more sustainable and be somewhat of a role model, I guess. Which brings me to my last point, which is transparency. And the reason I looked into this is, as you saw when I unpacked the box, I saw that some of the meat is organic from New Zealand, but what about the beef? So I tried to find out online where the beef is sourced from, or where like other produce is sourced from, and I just couldn't really find anything. The only thing it says on the website is we aim to use as few imported ingredients as possible to protect the environment and help New Zealand farmers, and we work with trusted local suppliers. Like, what does it mean to try to get as many, like, does it mean 70%, 50%, 90%? I have no idea. I feel like there's no clarity of like where you bought what from, and I find it a little bit weird that they don't have to put it on the packaging. But just to add here again, I still think it's great that they try to use as much locally sourced produce, that they try to use organic produce. So overall, I think it's the right direction, but I just wish they would be a little bit more transparent about things. So those were a few points I found on the website that I wanted to touch base on. Definitely let me know what you think about this, and if you would buy or not buy a box based on the information I just gave you. And also if I missed anything, or if you think different about anything I just said, just put it down into the comments. That's really good. I would say 8 out of 10. It's very tasty. So this really cool trick the other day. Just drop it, and then we have a perfect crack. Lovely shine. Quite decent actually. I wouldn't say as good as some of the other dishes. I'd say 7 out of 10. That's good. So it's about a week ago now that I have received my HelloFresh box, and I cooked and tasted every single meal, and I have a few final thoughts that I want to share with you. And number one is obviously the whole concept of the box. The idea that you get your dinners delivered to your home, you don't have to think about the recipes, you don't have to stress about going to the supermarket and buying everything. And with that, it's also really cool that you can filter the different types of meals that you want. If you want fish and meat, if you're a veggie, if you have children and you want to have like child-friendly recipes. And as I learned, there are superstar climate superstar, I can't remember the name, recipes. So there's tons of different recipes that you can pick from, and I'm pretty sure you'll find something that you like as well. And if I think about the taste and the flavor of the recipes, I mean, you've seen me trying them, I think on an average, I would give it a 7 out of 10, which I think is pretty good for a meal box. Overall, it was super tasty. There was nothing wrong with any of the dishes, but I would also say there was nothing like mind-blowing or super special about them. They were just like good, decent meals. And also the sizes of the meals, I think they were quite good sized, but obviously it is kind of like a one size fits all. But for me, I think it was pretty good, and Nick really liked it as well. It kind of came to this point where I have like rinse and repeat meals. So I have all of my meals that I really love, and I just do them over and over again. And with doing a box like this, it kind of inspires me to come up with new recipes or cook things in a way I wouldn't have cooked them before. And also sticking with the recipes, super simple to follow. Like, it was pretty easy. Like, it's a step-by-step guide. It tells you what to do, and I like the recipe cards. I think they're really cool. I definitely want to keep them. And the last point for my pro list is that it's really customizable. So you can say how many people live in your household. You can say how often do you want to have your meals. You can say if you're on holiday, if you want to skip a few boxes. So it's like super customizable to your lifestyle. But those are all of my positive points about HelloFresh. But it wouldn't be me if I don't also have a few, I wouldn't say negatives, but critique points or points where I wasn't super convinced by. Number one, obviously, is the whole point about sustainability. I'm not going to go into that again, but I think I made my point clear about how I think about having all of this plastic. And oh my god, I had so much plastic waste after cooking some of those meals. It was literally like a handful of like plastic. It just hurts a little bit having that much waste. So I think in that sense a supermarket might be better because you buy it in bigger portions. Obviously you don't get like tons of little rice packs, you just get one big one and you just have this one packaging. And you also can make your own choice of what you want to buy. So I personally always try to buy a fruit and vegetable that's unwrapped. But yeah, I'm not going to go further into it. I think I made my point clear earlier in the video. The next point I have is the subscription. I'm not the biggest fan of companies that use subscriptions or force you to use a subscription to buy products from them, because you can so easily forget about it. And I just got remembered the other day when someone in our office who tested HelloFresh again, as we got this little voucher, and she came to me and was like, damn it, I forgot to cancel the box and now I got a second one and I didn't want to have it. And I just hate this concept of forcing people to sign up to a subscription that likely a lot of people are going to forget about. And one thing I did find as well is that actually when you were cooking the meals, it wasn't really much shorter than when you buy all of the stuff in the supermarket, because you still had to cook everything kind of from scratch. I wouldn't really say if you want to save time, buy HelloFresh, because you're not going to save time. Like, those meals are still, it says like this meal here takes 30 or 40 minutes to prepare. And then the fact that I have to go to the supermarket anyway to buy my breakfast and lunches doesn't really cut any time off my supermarket shopping anyway. So final thoughts would be, if you are a family that has the spare money to buy those food boxes and you are really busy and you have children, or if you are, for whatever reason, don't want to go outside, don't feel comfortable to go to supermarkets, are physically not able to easily go to a supermarket, and I think that's really handy as well, that you can just order to your door. But personally, I probably wouldn't buy HelloFresh again. I do like the concept of it, but I think in the long run it would probably be a little bit too expensive for me, and I just really enjoy going to the supermarket and wander around and buy the food there. And I do actually prefer concepts like the wonky box or the odd box much better. But let me know what you think about boxes like HelloFresh, if you ever tried it. And if you haven't, then I hope that this video helped you to make up your mind if you do want to buy it or not. So that is it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I know it was a little bit of a longer one. If you made it all the way to the end, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed it, and give the video a thumbs up as well. It was quite a lot of work to do. And otherwise, I'll see you in my next video. Bye!